Hello, my most amazing artists. So today we are drawing self-portraits, but this time you don't have to use a drawing shield, and you also can look. So you can finally look. It doesn't have to be one line anymore. It doesn't have to be a continuous line. It can be as many lines as you want to, but it still is going to be contour lines. So we looked at the work of Roy Lichtenstein and his comic books, and how he used contour lines to make comics. Actually, not just that artist, but any artist used contour lines for comic books. So those are all of those just outlines. They don't have much shading besides some of the colors added in there, and we'll talk about that next week. But all of those black lines are what we're focused on today. So we're simplifying our faces and just worrying about the most important things. So eyebrows, eyes, nose, mouth, face shape, hairline, our necks and our shoulders, and the most easy way to get there with those contour lines, because I know sometimes we try to overcomplicate things and just sketch away at it, but really if we simplify it to the contour lines that we see in the mirror, it shouldn't be too hard. So it's definitely easier than last week. We're going to be using that mirror again. Please keep it on your table. I know you can't see me looking at it, but I do want you to look more at the mirror than you do at your paper today, because it's going to help you out, believe it or not. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have some idea sheets here talking about head shape, talking about mouths, things like that. So there's going to be all different types of sheets you can look at for those drawing ideas. I'm just going to show you one quick way. I like to start in the middle of my face, just like my blind contour. I still start there, keeping in mind that my head is going to take up most of my paper. So it should probably take up from about the size of your hand, should be the size of your head. And our heads aren't circles, they're ovals. You want to look in the mirror to see what your chin looks like. Make sure you have a neck, so you're not a floating head. A neckline, whatever shirt you're going to wear, it's up to you. But that's about all we see in a portrait. In a self-portrait, it's not any bodies. You just see your shoulders, your neck, and your head. First thing I'm going to do is my eyebrows, and they start, believe it or not, in the middle of my face. They don't start way up here. They start about the middle of my face. I'll start drawing my eyebrows. Contour lines, so not a bunch of lines, but it's okay because we will be outlining in Sharpie and erasing. So whatever you need to do to get there is just fine. And I'm moving quickly. You guys can take your time on this. But notice how your eye shapes aren't just circles. There are circles inside of those eyes, but the whole thing is not just a circle. It's kind of like an ellipse, but they're pointed on each side. Maybe play around with where your eyes go on there, what looks right. Your nose, a lot of the time we just do a nose like that, an L nose. But really, if you look in the mirror, your nose doesn't look like that. So I'm just going to show you one way to make a nose, but there's idea sheets and they'll have all different ways for you. But we talked about how there's really like 3 bumps there, not just one. Your mouth. Now, this is a comic book, so however you want to portray yourself is okay, as long as you're still looking in the mirror and working realistically. Okay, so hair. You want to think about your hairline. Hair doesn't just come down both sides. So if you're a boy, your hair might go up here, and there is some behind your forehead. Keep that in mind. It actually sits on top of your head, but if you're a girl, it might come down by your shoulders, so I'll draw them on like that, but it's still on top of your head too. You can draw your earrings, whatever you want, and just make sure you have a neck. You're not a floating head up there. And then when you think you got it right and you've checked everything out, then we can outline in Sharpie. All right, so just that much is the goal for today. You can show a few lines for hair, but just simplifying it to just the most important lines, those contour lines, so that next week we can talk about how we can make these into a comic book. All right, artists, have fun today. If you need a Sharpie, I have them on my desk. But first, you gotta put your name on the back of this paper, which is something I forgot to do. Miss Q and class code. All right, let's get making some portraits.